Hello everyone and welcome back to COVID Chronicles. Today I have with me, Grace, Ella, and Allie, and we are talking about how COVID has impacted our lives and education. So I feel like the way COVID has impacted my life was, it was really hard for me to do online school because I had just started taking ADHD medication and that was like super weird being on that and like working at home. And I find it super hard to work at home. That's why I like cram all my homework in at school. And like, it was so weird because I would constantly go from being online to being in school. So things kept changing and I did not have a consistent schedule, which was really like hard. And like, I don't even know. It was just so like different. It was different for everybody. And like, especially since I had just started on ADHD meds, it was so weird. Just working at home, it was it was extremely difficult to focus. I couldn't like throw myself into like the zone of working. So I feel like for me it was very hard. But then everything like eventually went back to normal, so it's fine now, but like it was definitely a challenge.
Well, not to mention you were in middle school.
Yeah, and that's like the worst. Middle school was like the worst
time.
Yeah.
You're going through a lot of changes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you guys went through. I was a private school kid.
Yeah.
I was still at Heartland. And I took, I think all of 7th grade was online for me, and that was really hard. I can't do that. And I'm a very social person.
All of your 7th grade?
I did half of all of my 7th grade online, and then I came back in person, and that was just like a readjustment. That was crazy.
Yeah. Mine was like half of 7th grade, kind of near the end or whatever.
Yeah.
I kept switching back and forth from online to in person because I don't even know why. I just kept doing. I know one of the reasons was because winter break was coming up and my mom didn't want me to get COVID.
Yeah.
But like, still, why couldn't I have just picked one? And I would have picked being in person.
Yeah, I wasn't at school for a long time because everyone in my family got COVID except me. Like, my mom got it, and then my brother got it, and then my dad got it. And so we all kind of like we wrapped them in their own rooms. Like, we had this little like curtain, like a shower curtain up so that they could like hang out with the family and stuff.
Barricading.
And then so my dad and my brother in the basement, my mom was in her room, and we just connected the things together. And when my dad was down there, he was like going through crazy stuff was going on with him. And so he was like hallucinating and stuff. He wasn't allowed to get out of the room, so he decided, oh, I'm hallucinating and sick. I don't want to get the rest of my family sick, so I'm going to drive to the hospital. So bro decides to drive to the hospital, and then while he's there for like forever, and they wouldn't take him in anywhere. And then they found out he had cancer. And if they hadn't caught it then, he would have just died and stuff. It took them like weeks to get him into a hospital room. He was sitting outside.
Oh my God.
Well, that's what happened.
Like in the hall.
There was no room for anyone.
That's
there was
insane.
no room, man. It was crazy. And like, so we had to stay extra quarantined. And when he came back, we still had to stay at home because we couldn't get him sick. Like the slightest sickness could send him right back to that crazy stuff.
My mom also has an autoimmune disease, so we had to be extra careful because it could cause her to die because if she like would have gotten it. So I had to get like vaccine and everything, and it was hard for her to work. She works with kids, and kids are just full of germs.
Kids are gross.
That was the whole thing.
Kids are so nasty. Like, I love kids, but oh my God, if I see them like rubbing their nose and then touching everything and coughing, and I can't. I feel like I've definitely become more germophobe over the years. I wouldn't say I'm like a germaphobe fanatic.
And you can't expect kids to wear masks all the time because
the masks
is just brutal.
So brutal.
That
like
you can't go. You could be denied service if you didn't wear one. Like
which I understand because like obviously it's a global pandemic, but also they're like
there was always that.
It's hard to get kids to do it, and like
they're little. They don't understand.
It's little and it's uncomfortable and it's different.
Yeah,
they don't.
And I was gonna say something.
Well, no, I don't think
forgot.
people really like the change. It was hard for me to.
Because it definitely was. I don't either. It's something you definitely have to adapt to.
Yeah.
It's so like I don't know. I can't put it into words.
It makes your life so difficult.
It does.
And there was always that one, like, annoying kid who would, like, pull down their mask or whatever.
Just to get yelled at.
Yeah.
It was also really hard because we experienced COVID, like the real lockdown during middle school, and that is like, middle school is the worst time ever. Middle schoolers are so mean.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're the worst.
I remember getting, like, absolutely, like, I wouldn't say I was, like, super harassed, but I was definitely harassed.
I was bullied because my dad had cancer.
Jeez, oh my god.
Yeah.
I've never been bullied before. Like, I've never even...
I wouldn't say, like,
Wouldn't
I've
prepare
had,
me enough to go back to middle school.
I've definitely had
I just didn't
people
like it. It was awkward.
be rude to me. I wouldn't say I was constantly bullied, but I definitely was a little bit. Like, it wasn't every day, wake up, hate going to school, being harassed, whatever, but during middle school, there was some happening, and I feel like a lot of that was because, you know, middle schoolers are rude, middle schoolers are, first of all, going through a lot of
Thanks.
changes.
Right.
Yeah.
And with the change of, like, the masks and the pandemic and being online and having to do online work mixed with everyone's behavior.
In Zoom meetings.
Oh my god.
Mandatory Zoom
Oh,
meetings.
I
Oh my gosh,
remember.
they were the worst.
I remember there was this one Zoom meeting. My math teacher put her whole class on a Zoom meeting, and that was so helpful for me. And I had to go to a different Zoom meeting while that one was going. It was with my computer teacher. I won't name names, but I got into my computer Zoom a little bit late, and I was like, I'm sorry, I was in a different Zoom. And she was like, that's unacceptable.
Your like,
Girl.
specials had Zoom meetings?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't for ours, except for, like, band and choir, and Spanish.
My choir had Zoom meetings.
Yeah, it was...
Well, and it's
really
like the
weird.
lack of internet for some people. Like, I used to live in the middle of the woods, and it
Yeah.
was so hard because no one would bring internet out into like the woods. So like Zoom meetings would be so glitchy.
Yeah.
I can't even like talk.
And,
Well,
like-
it would just be really loud because my mom was both my parents are teachers, so I'd hear my dad like doing his little lesson plan downstairs, and then my mom like doing her.
Yeah,
little
and your
lesson
dad
plan.
is very loud.
And so is my mom. My dad would go in his room. My mom would go out in the kitchen, and I'd be in my room.
And, like, not every kid is in, like, a living space where they have the stuff to do that. Not everyone has internet. Not everyone has computers. Not every kid can afford that. So it's like only some kids are getting education.
Yeah.
Instead of everyone.
Well, my math teacher, she would do the Zoom meeting, and it was optional, and she'd also post like videos.
Yeah.
I liked the videos better because I would just kind of skip through and like jot down the notes.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't easy for them either because you have a whole year of curriculum planned out just for it to be like
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut our stories off there, but that was basically how COVID has impacted all of our lives. And yeah, thanks for listening to our podcast.